Hello everyone and welcome to our Tech Tuesday tutorials number 108. Today we show you how to convert a PDF worksheet into an editable Google Slides activity. Now before you click away and say, yes, I know this already, I have a better method, so hear me out. As you all know, our educational institutions are in a flux due to the current pandemic, and educators everywhere are working quickly to try to convert materials to online versions. And sometimes they just need quick tricks to get something up for Monday morning. We're often asked by teachers if they can put PDFs into Google Classroom so that students can edit them. Perhaps it's a worksheet or a lab report or whatever. The problem is that PDFs are inherently not editable. That's usually the point. If you want them to be distributed in an editable form, you have to build in form fields, and that requires the paid version of Adobe Acrobat. So here's a tip for converting those PDFs into Google Slides, which would then let you distribute them as an assignment in Google Classroom. Again, you may have heard of this method using an image as a background, but I don't really like that method and I have a better one. So here we go. First, you start off with your PDF, and the other method, the background method, would tell you to try to get as much of this as possible onto the page. The problem is that if your font is small, it's hard to read and it will become kind of pixelated on the screen. With my method, you can get in as detailed as you like, so you would zoom in to get the whole graphic and use a screen capture tool on your computer, such as the snipping tool on a Windows machine, and on a Mac you can use Shift-Command-4. I would come in here and grab as much of this as I can, maybe get in the word bank, maybe not, but I can clear that out, doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to go over here and save this snip. It's going to ask me to give it a name, and I'll call it something that I can remember easily. Then I'll go down and get the other part of it. These questions I can just type into a slide, and I don't need to screenshot those. You want to focus on screenshotting elements that you cannot easily reproduce with text fields or simple shapes. So I've gone through most of that, and the rest of this, again, I can just type in there. What if you have a different kind of worksheet? What if you got a worksheet like this, which is a story, and they read for comprehension, and then they have to answer questions? Well, you may be tempted to make this into a worksheet, but honestly, this is just annoying to do online, because I'd have to type half my sentence here and the other half here. And honestly, these are just text-based questions. This is just text with a couple of images. You could technically just take all this, copy it into a Google Doc, put in the images in there, maybe use the snipping tool to get those, drop them into the Google Doc, and then just put in the questions and have the kids answer it. Or you can even build this into a Google form, put all this in the very beginning, and then have these be form questions to a Google form. Resist the urge to do a one-to-one conversion with PDF documents, because sometimes PDF or a typical document that you would do with handwritten responses is not the best choice when you're moving to online. Here's one more example of something that you may want to convert to an editable worksheet through Google Slides. In this case, you've got these little images here, and you want to be able to have the students put in the value that adds up to 4 going across on each one of them. With these, it's a little tougher to do if you're not going to be using my method. If you're using the background method, then you're going to bring this whole image in and it's going to look a little funny. Whereas mine lets you kind of cut it up and use whatever parts you want. So once you have your images, you're going to want to go to slide.new. And when you get here, instead of right-clicking and changing the background, which is the popular way to do this right now, now let me show you what it looks like when you do this method, which I don't recommend. When you do this, it's going to stretch your image to fit the background. Yes, it means that the kids can't make any changes to it, but it makes it look stretched. And it can honestly be fuzzy and hard to read because the resolution might be fairly low. You're also not taking advantage of the landscape view that really works better for online viewing, because they encourage you to go into here and go to File, Page Setup, and change it to a 8.5 by 11 so that it fits the worksheet image. So no, I don't really prefer that method. What I do instead is I alter the masters. Masters are templates for your layouts. So when you go here to layout, you can modify this. More than just controlling the layout, it actually has content that you can put in there. So I'm going to go to View and Master. Then just pick a master slide that you'd like to use. This one seems pretty good because it's got a title at the top. And you can resize this text box if you'd like to keep it. We'll leave it here for now. And we're just going to move the title up a little bit more. Now I just go and drag and drop the image that I would like to use. Here's the thing, if that image is still a little too small, I can do some other cool things with this. For example, I could just get rid of this entirely and make copies of this image and then use the crop tool to crop parts of this image so that it's only a couple of items at a time. And then I can enlarge that to make it a little easier for the kids to view. And so I can then take this and duplicate this, and on the second layout, not use that one, crop this one, and only use the bottom ones. And so I can build this into a 2-pager activity with much larger graphics, and so the kids would then be able to see it clearer and work with it better. And then you put in your instructions up here. Now your instructions, you can't edit this placeholder text. If you try to type, it doesn't do anything. And that's because this is a placeholder text which lets you type in whatever you'd like on the main slide. Great, let's try the cell activity one. I'll come in here to another one, and or I could just duplicate this one. Control D will duplicate it. Take this out and leave my instructional title there. Drag and drop my cell. And in this case, I may want to get rid of this word bank graphic and have my own set of words that we drag over. Or maybe I want them to label it and not have the help of the word bank. Well, you can cheat here. You can go in here to shapes and just drag a shape over that to cover it up. And it's going to look kind of odd. So what you can do is select the shape. Notice it has a border and it's filled in. So the border is up here with a pencil. I'll make that transparent. Shaded, I'm going to make it shaded white. So now it's just a white box on a white background covering up some text. Once we're here, by the way, we can go ahead and delete all the ones we're not using, just to not further clutter our presentation. There. So I come back here and now I just apply a layout and I say, I want this layout. And it does it. It's in the background. They can't make changes to it. And I can come in here and say, use the text tool to type your value, whatever. And if you can move this around and provide more room for instruction. Now you can have them go up here and use the text box tool, or you could pre-populate text boxes and just leave them here for the students to be able to go in here and click. For elementary kids, this may be the most preferred method. These text boxes are generally no border, but you can go up here and apply a border and just say, give it a 1-point border weight so that they can see it more easily. But that's an aesthetic choice. It's up to you. When the kids want to come in here and fill this out, they'll just come and click, and they'll have to know to double click it to be able to type into that. So if this value is 7, they'll put a 3. If this value is 7, they'll put a 5, and they'll put a 1. Now notice that the styling is kind of off. So what you can do before you push it out to them is you can come in here and make the font bold. You can make the font larger. You can make the font centered. You can do all these wonderful things that you might want to do. Change the font type. And in general, just make it a little bit more appealing for your students to use it. What's good is that once you get one of them like you like it, you can then clear it out. It maintains the formatting. You can then copy and then paste, move it here, copy, paste, put one here, paste, put one here. And of course, I would be a little bit more careful with putting this out to students and get it sized a little bit better, but you get the point. And again, it's up to you if you want to put a border around that or not. Now, all you have to do is go into Google Classroom and assign this and push it out to each student as its own thing. If you want to do more slides, you just come in here and do that. Choose your layout. Say this will be the cell wall one. I'll do another slide. This time an animal cell versus a plant cell, and so on and so forth. So I like this method more because it gives you a lot more control as to where you put elements on the screen. It lets you take advantage of your widescreen display, which is what it will look like on the screen for the kids. That way you don't have vertical display issues. It lets you get much better resolution captures from the PDF, and it lets you set up multiple layouts as you wish to use them. Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you found it useful. And if you did, go ahead and click that like button. Heck, why not support us and click that subscribe button? Click on the bell icon to receive email notifications. Leave a comment or an idea for a Tech Tuesday video below. Share this video with your friends, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.